Welcome to a 1v1 on Faymonville Approach. This is going to be Lenny12346, a very prolific KOTU streamer, so many people are probably familiar with him, versus Dell. Dell will be playing as Overcommando West in the South Base, going Volksgrenadier first. Lenny going to go with double conscript start, no huge surprise there. Lenny's love of conscripts is well documented, to say the least. And we will have Dell going for the strategic point here, outside the Overcommando base first, following that up with the fuel point, and Lenny's actually going to be sending his combat engineers immediately for the munitions point, and probably backcapping with conscripts. Interesting.
Fresh conscripts have arrived.
Volksgrenadier is spreading out towards the left side, so it looks like Dell is going to be spreading himself out for territory rather than concentrating his forces in one area of the map. I think it's possible that he might struggle a little bit to win engagements early on, especially against Lenny's conscript spam, but I guess we'll see what happens. Third conscript already cooking. We also have sandbag cover position going up here? No. Just occupying himself while he waits for the point to capture. He could always complete it later if it suddenly became tactically advantageous. We do also have combat engineers moving around to grab the fuel. Stern pioneers have already moved away towards this area, so it looks like those combat engineers will be able to get that decapped at least.
Enemy squad has us sighted. This now belongs to the people and workers of the Soviet
Volksgrenadiers forcing those combat engineers into the house. This house is not actually a very good defensive position because it's only got one window on each side, so it's only machine guns and flamethrowers or LMG squads, for example, are all that effective inside of it, and even then, not entirely so. So really, it looks like Lenny is just kind of stalling his opponent here while he captures other parts of the map. We do have conscripts grabbing the fuel here, more grabbing the strategic point there. Conscripts are going to close into close range against those Volksgrenadiers, which means that they really have no chance of winning that engagement. He's kind of losing his opportunity to chase, though. He could have vaulted and followed them across the road. He was a little slow to do so, though. There he goes. Now, he's going to oorah across the road, so that will reduce the amount of damage he receives on the charge. Meanwhile, grabbing some territory over here in the middle, and he was forced out of the house. Over here on the right side, and I think these are actually the same squads that were in that house. He just pulled away over towards the middle, and his opponent moved up towards the top to retake some territory. This holding this does cut his opponent off from the munitions here in the south. So things are pretty even for map control as of right now. Volksgrenadiers continuing to move around. The conscripts are really starting to come out in earnest now. That's going to be squad number 5. If we take a look at the HQ, still no upgrades actually. I find that surprising. I think Molotovs would be a good purchase at around 3 conscripts. Waiting until you have 5 makes it kind of difficult to win some engagements. For example, he probably could have done better in this engagement over here if he had earlier Molotovs. Certainly he would have no problem winning this engagement. Throwing even just one Molotov would completely deny them cover. So a little bit late on the Molotov research, I think, but I guess that's just my opinion. Certainly I'm a lot less experienced with conscript spam than Lenny is. More conscripts moving across the north. Going to be grabbing some territory up there. They will be mildly opposed by some Axis infantry. We also have Volksgrenadiers hold up in this house here. This house is notoriously quite dangerous to hold up in because one grenade will destroy the entire building if thrown at the door. Lenny is doing quite well for map control. Kind of surprising, considering he's conscript spamming. You'd think he would have taken these territory points a little earlier, but clearly he's playing as aggressively as possible here. Not worrying about his own resources so much, and instead focusing pretty much entirely on just denying resources to his enemy, which is probably why he ran his combat engineers straight to this munitions off the bat, followed up by immediately cutting off this fuel, constantly harassing this fuel, constantly harassing this cutoff here, and then when he can't hold that, just moving down and taking the resource points directly. So yeah, even at 5 minutes, he still doesn't even hold the strategic points right outside of his base. But he'll probably find an opening to take those quite soon,
The enemy is encroaching on our
as he starts
territory.
to have more and more difficulty winning engagements using nothing but conscripts here into the mid game, especially depending on what his opponent chooses as a higher tech response to this. Of course, he has gotten battle group headquarters, so we're not going to see a flak half track or anything like that. We might see a Panzerschwer HQ if he chooses to go looks first to fight these hordes and hordes of conscripts. Of course, he's also chosen Luftwaffe ground forces, so we'll probably start seeing some Fallschirmjäger. Probably start seeing some MG-34s, but MG-34s can be a dangerous proposition against this much infantry because conscripts, especially with URA, can be really difficult to pin down with MG-34s. Really susceptible to getting flanked and potentially stolen. So Fallschirmjäger may be the safer choice, or maybe he'll just hold out for Obersoldaten. A lot of options available still to Dell to respond to this, I think. And Lenny is finally grabbing the strategic points by his base. We have munitions cache going up here. And Lenny has successfully managed to harass all the way over to this strategic point. In fact, pretty difficult for the Oberkommando West player to maintain map control against this much infantry.
The point is ours. It's done.
But he's doing what he can here in the south.
Area secured. Okay, that's the last one.
You need something built?
Harassing the cutoff once again. This conscript squad, it's actually going to get caught by this machine gun. So that one is immediately forced to retreat, but the cutoff will fall. Of course, he needs to grab this victory point as well
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
to complete cutting off his opponent, and that means that this defensive position by Dell is going to have to probably going to have to move.
We have it.
You can't just sit down here cut off because he gains nothing from that territory. Oh, that machine gun definitely got way too over aggressive.
Contact! Enemy machine gun!
Conscripts will have no problem forcing that away at close range, but these conscripts probing towards the south do encounter another machine gun and are forced to retreat as well. But we have these conscripts ooh-rahing around the other side. Unfortunately, they get caught. So he responds to that by ooh-rahing another squad.
Losing territory.
Oh, but they get Shrek sniped. 2 men go down from 1 Panzer Shrek. What a load of... That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. Still, if Lenny had teched Molotovs by now, I think he would have been able to probably inflict massive losses on that squad, force a retreat from that thing.
The enemy is taking what we have secured.
And the fact that this is definitely a strategic decision at this point. He has 200 fuel. If he were going to get Molotovs, he obviously would have by now, so clearly he's not going to. I think he must be stockpiling all of his munitions for, I don't know.
We are ready to go.
Maybe
comrades.
mass PPSHs or something? I guess we'll see.
The enemy has found us.
We'll see what he's planning to do. I don't know what it is.
Conscripts can now use evasive
Okay, I think it's going to be mass PPSHs.
Our territory is falling into
I'm
enemy
pretty sure that's
hands.
what it's going to be. Hit the dirt happening here. Which is an ability you really don't see that often because it's just not that good. It basically is giving them yellow cover, helping against those Volksgrenadiers at least. And now that these Sturmkeiners are in the building, they're actually not going to do all that much. Firing only out of 2 windows at the time, or at this time. More conscripts here moving down to flank this MG-34, which is woefully unsupported. There's absolutely nothing nearby to help it protect its flanks. Dell is a little bit busy here in the middle, grabbing territory. Oh, and that will be his first squad of Fallschirmjäger as well, so it looks like Dell has a small CP advantage. He's actually almost at 4 CPs. Interesting. If we take a look at kills, yeah, we'll see that Dell has 20 kills. Quite a bit more damage inflicted as well. So he's doing quite a bit better for CPs right now. Lenny kind of having a little bit of difficulty. And I think that's mostly because he didn't take Molotovs. He's having a little bit of difficulty winning engagements, getting suppressed by MGs. Slowly losing his map control. And that's basically that's pretty much what's going to happen when you spam conscripts, and I think that he's going to 9 conscripts. I think he's going to He's going to make a bit of a comeback, probably though, if he gets like a ton of PPSHs. He hasn't upgraded any yet though, so maybe that's not. I guess that's not what he's planning either. I don't know. It's a mystery.
This building is ready to train good Soviet soldiers.
He went with tier 2 actually. Teching up finally. 10 minutes in. Probably gonna grab a Zis for the trucks, or maybe a machine gun or a mortar. I'm not sure.
Red Army at your
The enemy has us ranged.
Your command?
Bunch of conscripts making a push for the north. Not much up here to stop him, so he will be able to get a bunch of map control back there, no problem. He also has plenty of squads here in the south, but still without access to Molotovs. He has no way of getting the machine gun out of that house. He has used Hit the Dirt, but against these Stern Pioneers, it's not going to be all that effective, I don't think. Yeah, he's going to be forced away. Meanwhile, more waves of conscripts on their way to help with this fight. Fallschirmjäger are positioned behind this car quite nicely. Ooh, he uses Hit the Dirt on the squad that's taking all of the damage. Meanwhile, closing into closer range with his other undamaged squads. Very nice. And forces a retreat from those. Fallschirmjäger, he has more conscripts over here. More Fallschirmjäger popping out of buildings to try and battle all these conscripts. Lenny kind of struggling to micro so many squads simultaneously, leaving these idle a little bit instead of continuing to harass while he's microing this battle furiously here in the middle and south. And it's hard for me to say whose favor that went in. Clearly Dell managed to push Lenny back a little, but Lenny is also getting a pretty decent hold on the map up here. Unfortunately, conscripts have no solution to this, so he won't be able to harass the fuel points, sadly, but harassing all of the strategic points is almost just as good. 3 fuel and 5 munitions versus 7 fuel from a fuel point. So if you can have a huge strategic point advantage, that's certainly also beneficial. Fallschirmjäger grabbing the strategic point, but a pretty decent sized force of conscripts is on its way here. We also have grenade being thrown there. Could be a good one. Ooh, that was a pretty good one. And Lenny is not stalling for heavy call-in tanks or anything like that. He's using literally nothing but conscripts. Conscripts that don't even have upgrades of any kind except for healing. No PPSHs either, which just boggles my mind. He must be saving up to use like incendiary artillery over and over again. Or maybe even rapid conscription. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he started popping rapid conscription and just keeps the hordes of conscripts coming. I don't know, I guess we'll see. Continues using Hit the Dirt in massive quantities, and this is such an unusual strategy. I've never seen a game like this. But that's because I clearly I don't watch Lenny's stream as often as I should. Dell though doing what he can against this. His map control is definitely not bad considering the massive amount of infantry crawling all over the place like ants. He is doing a good job of holding on to the map. I think Fallschirmjäger was a good call. Fallschirmjäger are a very hard counter to conscripts, for sure. And if he can start landing some lucky grenades, if he can wipe a handful of squads here and there, who knows what might happen. Some healing and reinforcement happening here in the base. And it looks like this truck, he's thinking about setting this truck up somewhere. I don't know for sure what he's thinking of doing. We will see that Dell has gone with a Schwer HQ, hasn't purchased anything out of it yet. He's actually getting a Raketenwerfer right now. I'm not sure a Raketenwerfer is really necessary against what he's currently fighting. I think that may be a misread of his opponent. I mean, I understand playing it safe, but he's fighting 9 conscripts. Or no, excuse me, 8. Or no, it's 9. Or no, it's 8. It's 8. I can count. Yeah, 8 conscripts right now. So. So that's a lot of infantry. I don't think a Raketenwerfer is really the best choice. I think he really needs to get a looks If not a looks, then maybe a, I don't know. Anything to fight massive waves of conscripts. We do see rapid conscription getting used, so yes, one of my guesses was correct. He is going to be using that, and it lasts forever, by the way. And once you activate it, you have all the time in the world to take losses, and the fresh squads will just start coming in. Unfortunately, it can only replace up to 2 squads, which I don't know. That would be really good if it replaced it with what you lost. I think it's not that great considering you're only gonna get conscripts back.
We are losing supplies to the enemy. We have more conscripts.
Taking a lot of losses, and I think he just got, that was the second full squad. He just cut back, which is going to bring Lenny now up to 10 squads of conscripts. He's actually doing a remarkably good job of keeping them alive. Microing 10 squads of conscripts at the same time is not easy, but he hasn't lost one yet.
Tank destroyer ready.
And he actually, okay, so he teched up now to mechanized armor camp and he built a support weapon camp, but he didn't make any units out of it. I wonder why. Maybe he just needed CPs. Maybe he just needed CPs, or maybe he just did it as like a sort of a backup in case a looks showed up or anything. But so far that hasn't happened. And Dell has a lot of fuel. I almost wonder if he's thinking of getting a Sturm Tiger. I mean, a Sturm Tiger shot on this could be it could be devastating. Look at them all. So many conscripts. I've never seen so many conscripts. But okay. Ooh. Decent mine. And he's popping rapid conscription again. So it looks like he intends to hurl himself at the enemy lines and take a few losses here. And here he comes. Ooh, nice incendiary barrage on that MG, forcing it to reposition. And somehow managing to walk straight up to that MG without even really getting suppressed. Maybe even wiping it, jeez. So that supply half-track will get taken out by the SU-85. Oh, nice grenade there. He may actually lose a conscript squad. Could it happen? Nope, they're gonna be fine. Still hasn't lost a full squad that I've seen. If he has lost a full squad, I didn't see it happen. SU-85 doing huge damage to the Schwerer HQ, and he's getting a Panther. Panther, I guess that's an okay response to seeing an SU-85. I still kind of think a Sturm Tiger would have been fun to see, but it looks like it doesn't matter. I think that the Schwerer HQ is going to get taken out here. Lenny being forced to maneuver a little bit. He doesn't want to get taken out by that Shrek. He doesn't want to get too greedy. There's going to be other chances for him to finish that off, so he's just pulling back. Playing it somewhat safe. Hit the dirt happening over here. And here are the 2 fresh squads from Rapid Conscription, bringing Lenny up to 12 squads of conscripts. He still hasn't lost one, somehow.
Well done, comrades. The point is ours. Engineers standing by.
But there is a Panther on the field. Fortunately, Lenny did not quite finish off the Schwerer Panzer HQ, so there is a Panther on the field. Hopefully he'll be able to make use of that to take out that SU. I think Lenny has teched anti-tank grenades, so he will be able to snare that. Honestly, if he threw enough anti-tank grenades, he could probably be a pretty significant threat to that Panther. He doesn't have the munitions to to spam them like ridiculously hard, but he can throw a few AT grenades. Conscripts blast a few Folks Grenadiers, forcing them to retreat. South is almost completely undefended, so Lenny's infantry should have no problem regaining some map control down there. Meanwhile, he's got a couple squads probing the north. Not all that much defending here either. A lot of Dell's forces are currently in the base, reinforcing and healing. He does have some Fallschirmjäger here in the middle, kind of out in the open though. He really needs them to be in cover to keep Lenny's forces at bay, who just popped rapid conscription again. So he's probably going to have even more conscripts soon. Yep, there's yet another conscript squad. Oh, jeez. Fallschirmjäger are taking a little bit of damage, though. Yep, there they go. Will be forced back. It's just kind of a slow process of vetting up those Fallschirmjäger until they can just become killing machines against these conscripts. Doing really nice damage to these charging infantry. We also have a frangible smoke grenade going out, so that's going to inflict a little bit of damage to those retreating squads, but nothing that can't be healed. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Lenny is almost struggling to keep all of his squads healed up to full, because there's only 3 medics. The American ambulance heals an aura, but the Soviet medics heal at a fixed rate. So with this much infantry to take care of, it can be rather time-consuming, I think. But he's doing a good job of retreating in waves and attacking in waves and sort of staggering his pushes really well. Certainly, he's not feeling too much pressure to push with a giant army because his map control is really stellar right now. His opponent is really struggling to keep him back. Anti-tank grenade does connect with the Panther. Incendiary barrage coming down on this giant blob. Ooh. And oh geez, I'm not sure if he noticed or what. What is he doing? Retreat! He was not watching, he was paying attention to something else, and he just took massive losses from that incendiary barrage. Oh geez, he couldn't afford that much manpower bleed. He's already so behind. Meanwhile, Lenny's sitting pretty in his base with 7 squads now, and still has even more squads all over the map, harassing the north. Was harassing this a moment ago. Needs to send some squads back down there to the south to deal with those wounded Fallschirmjäger. Even 1 conscript squad will probably be enough, and Lenny certainly has more than enough of those. At this point, I almost feel like Dell isn't sure what to do. He's probably facing something he hasn't faced before. And a well-microed massive army of conscripts can be difficult to take on if you don't consolidate in one concentrated defensive position somewhere. And unfortunately, he just kind of keeps sending lone squads out to harass, and he really can't expect that to succeed. He's also invested a lot of manpower into Folks Grenadiers with Panzerschrecks, when really anti-tank is not his greatest concern. If your opponent has 14 squads of conscripts, I think it's safe to start investing in some harder anti-infantry counters. We do see that he's Luftwaffe, so more Fallschirmjäger are certainly always an option. Maybe more machine guns are always an option. Unfortunately, he can't get Panzer Fusiliers with G43s. If he had gone breakthrough tactics, he probably would be doing a little bit better. Panzer Fusiliers can actually do quite well against conscripts in massive numbers. Even Sturm Pioneer spam, I think, off the beginning probably would have done all right, especially with no Molotovs or anything like that. Certainly, it's too late for that now. Now he's just going to have to do the best he can with what he has. it's going to be difficult, especially with his map control situation being what it is. Lenny just can't seem to get a line on this Schwer HQ. There he goes. So some tree or something like this formation or something must have been blocking line of sight. But finally, he's in a nice conservative, safe position. He'll have no problem focusing that thing down, and I don't think that Dell's going to be able to stop Lenny from destroying that. His Panther's moving up, but with all of this stuff screening, I don't know. Uh-oh. I think Lenny might be about to lose a squad here. Nope. No, he gets them out of there. It's not easy to micro this many conscript squads, but somehow Lenny is pulling it off. I can't believe how much stuff he has just all over the place. And there goes the Schwer HQ. So no Sturm Tiger. He hasn't even made any Obersoldaten. Obersoldaten would have been a huge help. Obersoldaten would have been a huge help. So now his only elite infantry option is going to continue to be Fallschirmjäger. Fallschirmjäger, not the Fallschirmjäger are bad, but Obersoldaten have the longer range. And that can make all the difference. Rapid conscription getting popped again. Which is going to bring Lenny up to, like, what, 16 squads of conscripts? Who knows? Panther hunting for the for the SU. Sees a huge wave of Allied infantry and decides to leave. SU gets some free shots on the Panther rear armor as a result, though. We do have a little bit of harassment happening down here, but like I said before, I don't know if this is the time for map harassment. I really think that if Dell would concentrate his forces, he would be doing better. Of course, now without the option to get Obersoldaten or a Lux or anything, I really think that a Panther was the wrong decision. I think he should have just he already had 3 Panzerschrecks. What is a Panther gonna do? Panther's not gonna do anything against this. That machine gun stood no chance. Manageable anti-tank grenade getting thrown at the giant horde of conscripts, forcing a few to retreat, but they're spread out enough that it's not the end of the world. Oh, another crazy Shrek snipe. That's the second time in this game that 2 conscripts died to 1 Panzerschreck shot. But certainly Lenny has no shortage of conscripts. And Lenny actually has 57 munitions coming in due to his really good map control throughout most of this game, and he keeps popping rapid conscription. He keeps on using incendiary artillery barrage to keep his opponent's infantry off the field. I'm not sure where that one just got called in though. Oh, right there. Oh, nice. To deny the victory point. And meanwhile, he can just sit here in the middle of the map, and his opponent doesn't have enough firepower to unseat him. Doesn't really have any indirect fire, like a Stuka or something. He doesn't really have mortars. And his suppression is just doing nothing. He doesn't have nearly enough machine guns to contend with an army of conscripts of this size. And I actually have to hand it to Lenny that even though his army is this big, he's not really, I wouldn't really say that he's blobbing that well. I feel like he's using all of the individual squads really nicely. He's not just moving them all in one giant clump. He's always moving them in groups to various locations on the map. I mean, now at this point he has like a zillion squads. It would probably be impossible for him not to blob because at any given point on the map there's like a zillion conscripts. But I think he's doing a really good job of responding to threats at all locations of the map, keeping the entire map under his control. And now he's just kind of locking everything down. It's just a giant meat shield of conscripts that's taking his opponent forever to punch through. Meanwhile, he has plenty of time to reinforce and heal up. It's gonna send yet another giant army of infantry. This is like he's almost like he's got 2 whole armies. Send another giant army down here to the bottom area of the map. Send some other units over here to the right side. And then probably circle back around and reapply some pressure to the middle. His opponent is starting to really vet those Fallschirmjäger up though. Like I said before, it's a slow process, but once they get there, they're just killing machines. Extremely effective against conscripts for sure. And machine guns stood no chance. He really needs to support his machine guns better. He cannot be sending his machine guns anywhere alone. He needs them in the back to support him in these engagements. Incendiary artillery getting called in on the on this infantry here. And it does force a retreat from Dell's infantry. The Panther actually has 14 kills, which is pretty impressive for a Panther. The pintle-mounted machine gun doing what it can against those conscripts. I mean, certainly, just imagine if he had made a Lux. Just imagine the impact that a Lux could have had if he had just made one. I don't understand. Like, why are you building a Panther against this?
Enemy forces capturing supply sector.
Clearly you need to adapt to your opponent's strategy a little better. But that being said, I mean, the Panther is, it's getting its fair share of kills. Somehow I think it actually has more kills than this Fallschirmjäger squad, believe it or not. So there you have it, King of the Spam. Ooh, nice grenade getting tossed there. Forcing that back. That being, I mean, I say a nice grenade, but I don't know if I think grenades or something. He has the munitions. He has the munitions. I mean, how many grenades would it take to wipe out this much infantry? There's no way he's ever gonna have enough munitions to throw that many grenades. He's gonna need to find a much more efficient means of countering this. He's winning engagements though. He's winning engagements. He's pushing his opponent back. Lenny never gets too aggressive or too risky. He retreats quite early. He's retreating even with 3 or 4 men left in the squad, presumably to avoid too much like ridiculous amounts of manpower bleed. And I almost, I mean, despite how much, like the massive amount of infantry he has, I'm almost curious how well he would be performing right now if he threw some PPSHs on some of these squads. I almost find it a little weird that he hasn't used that at all. I think he just would rather have access to the incendiary artillery and the rapid conscription. That flanking attempt failed. I'm not sure that conscript squad's gonna make it away.
The enemy is taking what we have secured.
Oh no, and a Vet 3 conscript squad does fall. He did pop rapid conscription just in time though. So it will get replaced, I think. Oh no, it hasn't been replaced yet. He needs to take a few more casualties, I guess. And the machine guns, just look how much damage the machine guns have been doing. Even though they haven't managed to just fully suppress the whole blob. 26 kills on one, 24 kills on the other. They're both Vet 5. Just look at all the veterancy on Dell's army. His army is just getting stronger and stronger, whereas Lenny's army is just getting bigger and bigger. So it's kind of just Clash of the Titans right now. There's massive waves of conscripts hurling themselves at a line of Vet 4 and 5 over Commando West troops. And it looks like this one's not going to go towards the Soviets' favor. The Fallschirmjäger and machine guns are just too powerful, pretty much shutting Lenny down. But fortunately, he has set up a minor presence here on the victory point itself, which will make it difficult for his opponent to retake, at least for a little while. Dell repairing the Panther up. Healing up and reinforcing some Volks Grenadiers and Fallschirmjäger. This Fallschirmjäger maybe a little too close. Oh, there we go. We actually have a grenade getting thrown. Frangible again, which costs a lot of munitions for him to do, but at the same time, it'll block line of sight. It'll do a little bit of damage to the squad he hits. I guess it's only actually 30. It's actually cheaper, considerably cheaper than the bundle grenades. So actually, it's actually quite cost effective. considering his objective here is to capture the victory point, I think that was a pretty good call. I think it well, it probably would buy enough time. Oh, big volley of Shreks getting fired right there. But incendiary artillery is getting called in. The Volksgrenadiers will be forced to dodge, and there's a ton of conscripts here. Now that the Fallschirmjäger and Sturm Pioneers have been pushed back, I think that those Volksgrenadiers may struggle to win any engagements here. Del trying to retake some territory over here in the north. Grenades being exchanged. Like I said before, I think throwing grenades at Volksgrenadiers at this many conscripts is just not very cost effective. There's no way he's going to have enough munitions to sustain that. He's going to have to find a better solution.
Relay orders. Supply half-track is in action. Standing by for setting of command. Mission accomplished.
And I'm not sure. Oh, it looks like Dell's getting a Stuka. Interesting decision. I think he could have, in theory, gone for a King Tiger. He had the fuel. Now that he's purchased a Stuka, he doesn't have the fuel. And King Tiger is certainly a very effective deterrent to infantry pushes. Not that I necessarily disagree with the purchase of Stuka either. I think the King Tiger, I don't know. I think the King Tiger would have been better, but maybe he just didn't have the manpower. Stuka will just have to be a stopgap until something heavier arrives. Vet 5 falls now, fighting these conscripts, throwing another frangible, pretty much forcing a retreat from those two squads, but there's plenty more on the way where those came from. Lenny also harassing the victory point up here, and I think a full squad might have gone down, actually. And those Fallschirmjäger may be Vet 5, but they're not going to be able to beat 4 squads. Ooh, that was a nice grenade, though. Looks like they... Geez, I hope he doesn't lose that squad. He really cannot afford to lose those. I think they'll be fine, though. Maybe. Yeah, they'll be fine. And they actually have, I think, like 50 kills. This squad has 23. So that's a lot of conscripts that have died by their hand. And now, Del hasn't fired his Stuka yet, so he hasn't played his hand. I don't want him to fire it blind low, no. Oh well, maybe he'll get some lucky hits. 2 kills. I think he should have waited for Lenny's next big push. Now he's probably not going to have it available to fire when he needs it. Against this, for example, that would have been a nice target. Especially with a really easy retreat path. Really very predictable retreat path from where they are right now. Getting torn to shreds by those armor-piercing rounds from the machine gun. Tons of damage being done here. More conscripts moving up to continue pushing and harassing territory. Oh jeez. Huge damage going out on those conscripts. Every time he throws one of those frangible grenades, it pretty much totally shuts down a whole wave of conscripts because it blocks vision, does huge damage. It's very cost effective. It's just a really good ability.
Enemy group are down.
Capture complete. No enemy activity. If the assault slows, we are finished. Follow the lead element and maintain. Contact! Small arms fire! Use a high rate of fire. Grenadiers ready.
Bit of a blob of infantry moving up here towards the north, and it looks like Lenny is Lenny's a little bit worried about that Stuka. He's taking some time to heal up and regroup here in his base.
Capture complete. No enemy activity.
But he's been pushed off the map a little bit here. Over commando player taking control of both flanks and the middle. Lenny's gonna have to make a really big push, make a really successful push, get some territory back under control. Del only has 78 points remaining, so if he can just keep the pressure up on the flanks,
The enemy is reduced to 300 points.
If he can keep the pressure up on the flanks, he should be able to bring his opponent down to 0. But it's going to come down to Stuka barrages and positioning and timing and how these infantry engagements go. Hitting the dirt under fire from this machine gun, and Fallschirmjäger already being forced to retreat a couple of squads there. Meanwhile, he is moving up with conscripts to take territory up here. Stuka firing on all of this infantry. Ooh. Unfortunately, it was aimed a little bit off. It got 0 kills. I don't even think it inflicted any damage there, so that was a poorly aimed. That was a very poorly aimed Stuka barrage. He could have gotten massive kills there if he had aimed that better. He didn't take advantage of Lenny's retreat path at all.
The valiant assault is now at hand. The troops await your command.
Enemy attacking in force! Target secured! Continue with rocket fire!
Taking small arms fire!
Oh, sending our artillery forces this Spokesgrenadier blob back. We also have Fallschirmjäger getting some kills on the conscripts over here. That's Stuka really kind of shutting Lenny down. In fact, I think he might have lost some squads. Not really. He's still got a lot. He's still got plenty of squads. He is a little bit spread out though. And like I said before, I think he's struggling to keep them all healed with only 3 medics. And he's actually attacking again to a tank of the battalion command. Certainly has the fuel to get whatever he wants. He has 600 fuel right now. I almost wonder if he's gonna get like a T-70 or something to hunt the Stuka. I don't know. With a Panther defending, it's gonna be pretty hard. Oh no! So much for that squad. Oh wow! Look at that, a flak emplacement. I think that might be the worst flak emplacement I've ever seen. That's horrible. That's like ridiculously easy to assault. Of course, Lenny's refusal to purchase Molotovs doesn't mean he's not going to be able to steal that. At least not easily. Honestly, if he just blobbed a bunch of squads in green cover around it, he could probably clear it out with just small arms fire. Volksgrenadiers are on their way to support though. And wow, this SU is actually a Vet 2. That's pretty impressive. Considering I don't think it has any... it has 2 kills. One vehicle destroyed. I'm not sure. Oh, it destroyed that SWS supply half-track ages ago.
The enemy has killed another infantry squad.
And another squad gets wiped. Now Lenny's army really is starting to dwindle a little bit. He's having a lot of trouble dealing with this Vet 5 stuff. 38 kills, 60 kills, 39, 34. Even the Volksgrenadiers have like a bunch of kills. Dell has 360 kills. Wow, that is a lot of veterancy. And that's starting to show. Just got so much map control.
Enemy infantry! Mission accomplished.
Now that Lenny's numbers are kind of dwindling, I think he's gonna struggle. Firing the Stuka blind isn't going to do the open commando player any favors though, and we'll actually see 2 T-34s getting produced here. So he's like completely changing up his strategy, taking up to T-34s here. Apparently GG already getting called by Dell here. I'm not sure if I think that was premature or not. Since there are 2 T-34s on the way.
Man down! We need to re-establish our supply lines. Watch for AT weapons!
Volksgrenadiers taking the strategic point over here. More with Commando West Infantry taking territory over there. And We will note that this doctrine does have conscript repair, so he will have a massive amount of repair potential in his conscripts. There's no doubt about that. Dell is at 97 out of 100 pop cap though, and floating a ton of resources. So even if Lenny were to just make a huge play and just crush his opponent, he would still have to battle his way through a lot more stuff. I mean, look at all this veterancy. This is insane. Conscripts making a push out of the base. Lenny really struggling for territory at this point. He just basically has nothing. Frangible grenade. Probably going to just shut this down. Yeah. Conscripts can't do anything against that.
Orders completed.
But Lenny does have his tank army built up here, and we'll see if he's able to do anything. He's immediately outside of his base. There's already full squad crushed by that T-34. Well, that's a good start. So much for those guys. But on his approach, he took quite a bit of damage from Panzerschrecks, and he's going to need to get that repaired. Meanwhile, he just can't seem to keep his squads reinforced. They're so expensive, but he has, just because he's spending all his manpower on tanks, he has a third T-34 hitting the field. Not sure, I don't know, we'll see what kind of impact he's able to have with that. He's going in hard, it looks like. He's now at 72 points, so he has fallen below his opponent. SU is getting some nice shots off on that Panther. Ram going in on the Panther at massive range, but it doesn't connect. He couldn't catch up in time. Unfortunately, the Stuka looks like it's a little bit out of position here. SU will be able to take it out. But now this T-34 is taking way too much damage from the Schwer Panzer HQ and Volksgrenadiers. And that one is going to be taken out as well.
The enemy has destroyed one of our vehicles.
But in the midst of all this, Lenny is actually making a push for the south and getting a massive chunk of map control back. So that's good to see. He's also taken out the Stuka, so that's going to free up his forces to a little bit more. Oh, jeez. He really needs to destroy that before his combat engineers get wiped out, though. Okay. That was close. He's probably actually going to recruit that, which will give him a pretty nice deterrent against harassment, at least. Still, he only has 25 points left, so I don't know if he's going to... I'm not sure what's going to happen. He doesn't have much time, and the Panther is getting repaired. There's still this. Still so much stuff for him to deal with. I just don't know if it's possible. I'm kind of rooting for him a little bit, though. I'm not sure. I don't know. We'll see what happens. More T-34s getting called in. He had so much fuel stockpiled. He's just making a zillion T-34s. Oh, Panzerfaust goes out on those Fallschirmjäger. Another Panzerfaust goes out on the T-34, and another one goes off on the SU, so he's going to have a damaged engine, making him quite vulnerable to the Panther. Another T-34 making its way up over here. Only 10 points remaining. Lenny has to do something. Oh no, these Fallschirmjäger just popped out of a building over here, and they're going to take control of the south victory point. And that's going to be the end of the game. So that was a new strategy, certainly something I've never seen before. I've never seen that many conscripts on the field at the same time. Using almost all munitions for rapid conscription and incendiary artillery. Personally, I think Lenny, I think he might have won if he had just gotten some conscript assault packages. Or Molotovs, or just anything to give his conscripts that little extra boost. Especially against the machine guns, because without Molotovs or PPSHs, it's really hard to like fully decrew these machine guns, and then the veterancy just gets higher and higher, and then that happens. Still, it was really fun to watch and cast. Well played by both players for sure. Well, a nice comeback by Dell, who I thought was, I honestly wasn't sure was going to be able to win. And I certainly didn't agree at all with his build decisions this game, yet they worked out for him. He made it work. So well played there, and I hope you enjoyed the game. If you have replays of your own that you would like me to cast, I'm happy to do so. Feel free to contact me, send me a message, send me a replay. I'm happy to do a cast for you otherwise. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.